So I had some free time today and I decided to run out to my local Copart branch. There's a couple of cars I was possibly interested in. I just kind of mainly wanted to browse around, and then I came across this gem. Man, this is a really cool car. What do you guys think? So for you guys in Europe, Japan, Australia, or some parts of Asia, this is probably not that big of a deal. However, for us guys in the US, this is kind of a big deal because these cars were never available here until just recently. And this is a 1991 Nissan Skyline GTR. Well, it was a GTR until somebody decided it'd be cool to tear off all these decals. What a bunch of savages. I found out about these cars back in the early 2000s, and ever since then I really wanted one. Let's take a look under the hood, see if this thing is stock. Oh yes, RB26. This thing's awesome. Seems to be factory for most part. It looks like there's an aftermarket oil catch can or something of that sort, and then a couple of aftermarket air filters. A lot of times you'll see aftermarket charge piping. Well, not the case this time. It's all pretty much factory. Looks like at some point it's been resprayed because this paint job is just about flawless. There's no orange peel there, so this thing was cut and buffed really nicely, and the paint job did come out pretty good. You can't really tell because it's really dusty since this yard is just filthy and there's a bunch of dirt and dust flying around. These cars just usually get covered in grit. Yeah, they're all filthy. So right away you can tell it's a GTR just by looking at the flared quarter panels. They do come out some because the GTs and GTSs, quarter panels on them were just pretty flush, just kind of the same contour as the door, but the GTRs were wider body in the back. Man, this thing is just beautiful. Now there are some Nismo stickers on this thing, but I don't know if it's a true Nismo. It's probably just some aftermarket crap. This is probably just a regular GTR, because normally you would see a Nismo writing somewhere within the cluster, and I don't see that. Now there's some more Nismo stickers down here, so I don't know, maybe it is Nismo, maybe it's not. I'm not really sure how to tell. And this thing has a bunch of controllers. So there's two there, there's some more right here, another one there. Not really sure what they all do, but man, this thing's still got a lot of stuff in it. Looks like someone already made off with one of the gauges though, and I promise guys, it wasn't me. I wouldn't do that. So all in all, interior isn't trashed. I mean, there is some wear and tear on the seats. Looks like this was some sort of a Alcantara, and it's fine here, but it's a little more wear down here. Not bad. Obviously the driver's seat will have a little more. Yeah, it's a little gritty and dirty. Back seats are pretty clean. No cracks in the dash. Still has its original wheels that aren't too bad. They are 16s. Now onto the bed. This thing got creamed pretty hard. I'd say all of this is in good 6, maybe 7 inches, give or take. Man, I tried opening this door. It's loose. It's not latched anymore. I was able to unlatch it. However, it's bent so bad that it's crimped somewhere down here, and I just cannot pull this thing open without a pry bar. And looking down here, looks like this rocker panel has been fixed before. There's some Bondo and stuff underneath. Looks like there's been some welding done right here, and it's all rusting away in this area. So God knows how far this rust has traveled this way. So I got a straight line going from the front of the door to the quarter panel, and if you look, the gap is really significant. I'd say it's probably a good 7 or 8 inches. So that rocker panel really got pushed in pretty hard, and then the floor pan followed, and I'm pretty sure that the damage spans all the way to the transmission tunnel and maybe even past that. A lot of the time, this sort of damage will deform the whole chassis, and you may even end up with something that is referred to as a banana, meaning that the car would get deformed in such a way to where if you were to look at it from the top or from the bottom, it would have somewhat of a curve almost. So it would in a way resemble a banana, meaning that if the car got punched hard enough in the side that the damage would transfer all the way through the floor pan and the roof line, and if the impact was severe enough, you may even see some bulging on the opposite side of the car. But with lighter impacts, you probably will not see the bulging. However, you can still end up with somewhat of a banana type damage. And to check whether you do have it or not, you always have to measure out the chassis either from the bottom or from the inside of the vehicle, and that's really the only way to determine the extent of the damage. And then quarter panel also got it pretty good. Just look at it. Woo! Yeah, just look at that gap. Yeah, I'd say it's good 6 to 7 inches there as well. This is not your typical damage where the car would have front end damage from rear-ending another vehicle or rear end damage from getting rear-ended. And the side damage is also not consistent with the car getting T-boned. It looks like this Skyline slid sideways into a pole or a tree of some sort. And since all GTRs are all-wheel drive, they don't exactly make the best drift cars. That's where a Skyline GT or a GTS would work out much better since they are just rear-wheel drive vehicles. Nonetheless, it looks like this GTR was sliding sideways before it met its doom.
Yeah, dude died in a
Drifting.
accident.
Oh, I'm drifting!
Hey, honey, take a good picture, I'm dead! What an idiot.
Man, it's a shame. I mean, this car is still fixable. However, sourcing a lot of these parts is going to be really hard. Like the trunk lid is still fine. Yeah, that thing survived. Maybe has a little bit of damage, but it's totally fixable. So the metal on the quarter panel is just stretched out too much, and then there's not really a good way to fix it. So the new quarter panel would have to be purchased, and I know that would be a pain getting it because, as I said, we don't really have parts for these things in the US, and then even in Japan, these things are getting rare because of the age of the car. And then in the front, yeah, you would need a new door. Doors are not that hard to find. I've actually found them on eBay for about $600 to $1,000, depending on the condition. Then the rocker panel would need to be replaced, and then I'm sure that the floor is fixable. It would just require a good pull. So all in all, I think I'm going to pass on this one, just mainly due to amount of damage and having a hard time sourcing the parts. Now, if this thing went for real cheap, I would take a gamble and just go ahead and pull a trigger on it. However, the auction hasn't even started yet, and this thing's already at $8,400 or $8,500, and I'm pretty sure price will go up a little higher. So I'm going to pass. So I was watching the auction just to kind of get an idea how much this GTR was going to sell for, and the final bid was at $10,400. So that's how much it sold for. If I was bidding on it, I would at least have to throw in another $100 on top of the $10,400. So let's say that the car would have sold for $10,500. If you think that all you got to do is walk into the auction house, hand them $10,500, and walk away with your new car, you'd be in for a surprise, because these auto auctions have a ton of fees and they will not release the car until you pay them all. So just for heck of it, let me go ahead and break this down to you, so this way you'd have an idea as to what the real final price is if you're going to be picking something up from the auction. So here we are on Copart's website, and this is where they got the breakdown of all of their fees. Now, we got standard vehicle sales price range, Fee A, Fee B, C, and D. What does this mean? Fee A and Fee B both apply to business members. That means if you got a business license, if you're running some sort of a business, or if you're a dealer, then the fees in the row A and B would apply to you. However, I'm just a regular guy like most of you people, so we would be considered as consumer members. So Fee C and Fee D would apply to us. And C is secure payment, D non-secure payment. What does secure payment mean? Let's see, money orders, wire transfer. So let's go ahead and assume that we will use the secured funds because it will be cheaper for us in the end. Let's just go off of a C column. So let's say that we bought that car for $10,500. So we got to scroll down to area that's between $10,000 and $15,000. Row C would put us at 15%. Now, that is the buyer fee that you would have to pay off of the purchase price. 15% off of $10,500 would come out to $1,500.
$575. There are additional fees. What are they? We got gate fee, which is $59. That just pretty much means you're paying them almost $60 just to bring your car out for pickup. And let's assume that we make our payments on time and we don't have any storage fee, meaning that we pick the car up within the given period of time. There is no fees associated with none of this. We still have to pay the internet bid fee. Now there's a kiosk preliminary fee and then non-kiosk. And I don't know really what the difference is, but let's go ahead and choose the cheaper option. So non-kiosk. Since we're above $8,000, we'll be paying $119. So now once you add all of that together, we end up with $12,253.
But wait! There's more! Hang on to your seat, baby! Cause this one's a screamer!
And don't forget about your state vehicle sales tax. Since I reside in the state of Washington, our tax is 9.3%. And that 9.3% comes out to $1,139. Once you add everything up, now we are at $13,394. Let's go ahead and round it up $6 to $13,400. So as you see at this point, we're paying $2,900 over the final bid price. All of this adding up real fast.
So once you factor in the price of the purchase of the car, the parts, the materials, labor, and some other miscellaneous charges, for example, like towing from the auction to your house, once everything is said and done, you may spend as high as $20,000 on this vehicle. Now, is it worth it? Maybe to the right person it is, but to me, no, not really. So guys, I did not get the GTR, however, I did get a different project, and here it is. Picked up this Acura that's been sideswiped, and this is the extent of the damage. So the plan is to fix the quarter panel, both doors, and I will also attempt to fix this fender. It did get kind of pushed up, and if you look at it, the whole fender kind of got pushed up above the hood line. So I will try to metal work everything out, but that would be in our next video. I'm gonna do one more video before I get to this project, and then this one will be up next. So guys, I hope you liked the video. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe, and don't forget to smash that like button because it really will help out this channel grow. If you have a comment or question, go ahead and let me know down below, and I will be seeing you soon with the next video. Later.